Hey everybody, Saxophone Geek here. We're going to test and look at a very rare alto saxophone today. It's not what you think. I've never seen one in person before, and we're going to play it and take a look at all the unique features of it. So this is going to be a cool video. It might be a little long. Stick with us. It's going to be cool because it's a really interesting horn. So here's the case for the horn. We can see already that it's a Conn by the badge on the case, which is pretty cool. And we'll open it up and take a look. So here it is. This is a Conn, and its model is 28M. When I first saw it, I thought it was a mezzo-soprano. It's got sort of a small look to it, the way it's shaped. But it's definitely an alto. It's very, very unique, and we're going to take a closer look at it. I'm going to do some still photos, and I'm going to do some video overlook as well. And then we're going to play the thing, and we're going to compare it with my Mark 6, and then there are a few other horns here that we can try to maybe compare. I don't know how much we'll waste time on that, but we definitely want to take a look and play this instrument. Never seen anything like it. Now, not all saxophone designs are keepers, and a lot of companies put out things that didn't quite last because they weren't the best design, and this is definitely one of them. Plastic key guard. I mean, this is terrifying even to look at the thing. We'll talk about the engraving in a second, but right now we're talking about the plastic key guard. It's got some stenciling on it with the Conn band guy symbols, and these usually are cracked where they are mounted. And as you can see, this one is in fact cracked there, and missing a piece. A little cracking and chipping here. And this one is the one that's okay. These are okay up at the top. I can't imagine ever playing this horn without breaking it. How could you not break it? There's a guy that makes copies of this, so that if you were to buy this and fall in love with how it plays and start playing it, you could get a replacement, so that you can play the thing and keep the original, if the original is in good shape, separate so that it's safe. But yeah, this would break in a day and a half. I can't imagine playing this thing at all anywhere. I'd probably break it. It'd probably just get caught on my jeans. And you pull the horn out to take put the horn into playing position, snap. So that's a pretty terrible idea. Also, there's no venting. I mean, there's no area for the sound to come out this way. All the sound is going to come out around the cover, which I don't like that either. I mean, it's plastic and it probably resonates and probably sound passes through it a little bit, but I think it's a silly idea. Okay. The next thing we see is a very unique pinky table for, I call it the table, but all the spatula keys for the left-hand pinky, G sharp, C sharp, B, and then B flat has this funny double piece where you have a roller on the outside and the key itself down below. No, just two rollers here, no roller for the big part, and the roller is on the outside. Pretty interesting. The spring is a little loose right here, but it does function. I like how these are all in a line like that, kind of like a super balanced action. That's kind of got a neat look to it. I'm honestly at a loss for how to film this because I really don't want to put the horn down on the other side, resting on this plastic piece. I mean, it's not exciting. Too fragile. Right, the horn does sit pretty flat on the plastic thing, but pretty scary. We have King Zephyr type key guard on this side and for the E flat. These are interesting shape. I like the way these are shaped with pretty little rollers on them. That's very nice. We have an interesting mechanism for our side keys here. Our right hand side keys, B flat, C trill, and high E. So we have a couple of interesting things here on the saxophone. Let's see. Our side keys are a different action. Instead of running across on the outside of the horn here where they normally are, they actually run all the way down, and they have a long rod for each of them, as you could see here, which is really unusual. And what that does is it makes the travel and the way it moves feel really, really nice. I mean, these move quietly and they have a really nice feel to the way they move. It's very strange. Because you're so used to the way that everything else is set up. Because everything else, that's made or ever been made copies the Selmer design. All right, so on the G-Sharp Articulator right there, you can see there's a screw on either end. There's a set screw for the adjustment. So you got the adjustment screws on top, and you've got a set screw on the outside so they don't move. In here you can see all of that mechanism for the side keys. And then there's another interesting thing that I really like, and it's the way the right hand keys are all designed. The adjustment bar is on the inside, as you can see there. You can see it shining. That's the actual adjustment bar. You can see it move with the keys. And these keys are long. They go all the way out to the outside of the horn on the back there. And what that does is it gives them a long way to travel. And they the lower hand feels more like a tenor than an alto. They have a really neat feel to them. Again, we have our very strange G-sharp spatula thing. We have a teardrop, high F. Might be the first company to ever do that. You tell me. I've never seen that before on a horn. And it's got a kind of neat, it's a cast piece. It's got a kind of neat design. Pretty cool. Next, we have a very strange octave mechanism situation. There are 2 octave pips on the body, and they work together. We'll take a closer look at that when I have the horn on a neck strap. And then we have a underslung octave key with no micro tuner, just a regular old Conn neck. This horn was probably made in the early 50s. Very unique instrument, lots of unusual key design. I think some of the things on this horn made it to the Conn shooting star horns, which are more like intermediate beginner saxophones that were made in the 60s and 70s. And in band world, we see a lot of those saxophones. But a lot of the stuff that they tried on this saxophone never made it to another horn. And it's too bad because they're really interesting designs. All right, so we're here to play test that strange Conn 28M. Very interesting horn. This is a Soundcheck bass line. This is my Mark 6. It's a 92,000 if you're keeping score, about 1962. A little beat up, a little worse for the wear, just like its owner. So here we go. Not a huge fan of this reed, but it'll get us through this play test. Another interesting, as we go, we're going to be looking at other interesting aspects of this instrument. One is that it has a double sleeve neck tenon, as you can see. So there's no, it's just sleeve here on this top part of the horn, and then it goes in like that. They feel nice when they're set up right. I would imagine that when these horns are a mess, that feels terrible and leaks air. But if you have a repairman knows what they're doing, they'll have special tools and they can make that stuff work correctly. This feels real nice. And then obviously the fastener is on the neck, not on the horn. All right, so it's kind of low. To pull the neck strap up a little bit, and when it rests kind of funny. I don't know if you can see that, but the horn is kind of leaning in this way when it's resting on my body. Whereas a Selmer or a modern horn, they tend to rest a little more like this when you're holding them. That would just take getting used to. I actually don't hate it. And we're back with the Conn 28M. Interesting horn. That one was a little flat. I pushed in a little bit. We're not pushed in too far. And it looks like I'm about where the last player was. So that seems like a good place for in tune. And boy, it's a neat little horn. Kind of compact sound, a little more like a Selmer. Pretty in tune seems. Altissimo's nice. You don't have to adjust too much. Pretty cool. Like a Conn, like other Conns, the high altissimo palm keys, they really sound and feel nice. Wow. The low notes are leaking a little bit, but that could just because the horn hasn't really been adjusted or anything. Let's do a low B flat scale. I think it might be just getting used to where these are. These are a little, I think I'm hitting the E flat and I'm not getting my low notes. It could be me, not the horn. Let's try again. Be more careful. And everything's in a different place. So especially the B flat, low B flat's in a different place. I wouldn't timber. It's like Niagara Falls. Slowly I turn. So anyway, let's try that again. It would take some getting used to where that B flat is. Man, up top the horn is really buzzy and happening. Really like that. The altissimo, I like this shape of this key. Interesting, man. And this was made 52, 53. I don't have a lot of altos that first finger only works for high G, but that's playing. It's a little sharp maybe, but on the Mark VI, that only works on tenor. Does not work on the alto. Back to the Mark VI. We're back with my horn, the Mark VI, 1962. I mean, I've been playing this horn for many years, so I'm very used to it. It's also a different type of horn. Let's see what it sounds like compared to what we just heard. Sound production alone, I think that the middle and lower part of the horn have a little more width, a little warmth than the other horn. However, the altissimo register, the palm trees and the altissimo is thinner sounding. I don't know if the video audio is doing it justice, but here in the room, in the space, I can hear the difference that the other horn, the Conn, just has a little more fullness and richness in the upper register. Interesting. But it's more similar to the Mark VI in how the keys feel It's not a similar horn really, but I don't know. Old Conns, the Chewberries and the 6Ms feel very different than this horn, where the other one, back and forth, is not too much of a stretch for the 28M. Interesting. All right, the horn that was over there that we're going to try also is a super balanced actiony Selmer. What does it say on it? $53,000, is that right? Oh yeah, you could tell by the engraving. So this is a later super balanced action. I wasn't able to push in far enough. I don't think this is going to be in tune at all. It's a little low. All right, this has got like white roux pads on it, but all the work seems to be fairly recent. Let's give this a try. This is like my Mark 6. The high G doesn't work with first finger only. On that Conn, it was. But I do 1-3, 1-3 on alto for high G. And then I add side C for G sharp. G sharp sticking a little bit. This is a neat little horn, not for nothing. This actually might play a little better than my Mark 6. That's how that goes. Here's another one he had sitting here. I don't expect this to play very well. It's got an old pickup still on it. It's got old pads on it. It's strangely re-lacquered. It's like a dark color. Let's see if I can show you that. It's a dark color to the lacquer. Weird. But it's got the extra text here. It's number 58,000. So this is a 1955 Mark 6. Let's see if it plays at all. We don't know. It's got a real old neck cork on it. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it leaks a little bit. Once you get down below F, you get problems, but it's an interesting sounding instrument. I kind of like that. 59,000. So this is about 1955. Not too much damage. Definitely re-lacquered, but what are you going to do? Some people might argue that, but I think this is a re-lacquered horn. Whatever. Even if it's not the cosmetic condition, this is not a museum piece. This isn't a $10,000 saxophone. But it could play really nice. You get this taken care of, do a job on it. I think this is probably a pretty nice alto. Hopefully for a decent price, because it doesn't look that good. Let's go back to the 50s Conn. What am I saying? 28M. Here we go. All right, we're gonna do one more shot on the 28M before we have to roll. Again, the action on the side C and B, you know, just picking this up after playing 3 Selmers in a row, man, these feel awesome. I really like the way these, you could really see that your whole hand, the horn is really spread apart. You can actually get your whole hand in there. And these really have a nice positive, these feel great. I mean, keywork wise, this doesn't feel like a Conn at all. Very nice. So I put a softer reed. This is not softer, but this is a reed I've been playing a while. So we'll see how this reed responds on the horn. And I have to pull the extra up a little bit because it sits different, all this stuff. F dealy. Upper register tone production on this horn is incredible. Really, really lot of speaking. Speaks a lot. Speaks well. What am I trying to say? Oi. Like, you know, Alto, I guess, so into playing bebop. Nice overtones. Not that Conns normally are bad with overtones. They're great, normally. So it's nice that they retain that, I guess. It's cool, whatever. Interesting. So, a very fragile, rare, unique saxophone. You'll never see anything, I mean, I've never seen one before. The Octave Mechanism, you can see the 2 octave pips move together. Pretty wild. Yeah, it's an amazing little saxophone. It's in pretty good shape for what it is. You'd have to get a replacement for that if you were going to gig with this instrument. But it really does play nice. You know, and this isn't a 10, even though it's very, very rare, I don't think it's either a $10,000 instrument either. I don't think they're really that valuable. But then you got to have someone set it up, because this one's set up nice. So anyway, in closing, thanks for watching this video. If you stuck all the way to the end, I'm pretty impressed. This instrument was pretty impressive. I liked it. Pretty cool to see, pretty cool to get the opportunity to play it, take some pictures, some video, a lot of unique features on it. The pictures in the video don't really do it justice, and it was fun to play. It was a cool instrument. If it didn't have a super breakable plastic key guard, which is the dumbest idea ever, it'd be a pretty hip little instrument. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of the audio. I've been working on the level between speaking and saxophone, and it's really difficult to deal with. So let me know if it sounds okay on your end, and thanks again for watching Saxophone Geek. All right. Yeah.